is all of this open to just God is whatever you want him to be? You just create your own idea of God. No God, this God, that God, young, old, male, female. But your idea is just as real to you as my idea is real to me. So it's just all of this idea that God is what you make him. So we make God. We create God. God's a product of our imagination, our mind, our desire, our wish, our hope. Either way it goes. But that's not true. This is the point. We're preventing ourselves from having that wonderful concept and understanding and relationship.
If you are here, obviously, then maybe you're a bit open-minded, whoever's listening to this, and so you've understood so far that in yoga, real yoga teachings accept the existence of a supreme person, and that is also a name for God. That's accepted in yoga philosophy, that there is a supreme person, and whether I totally understand people who have a hard time accepting that or having faith in that, and it's not expected that you have faith in that or immediately believe that or understand that. And for me it was an important step to understand the nature and the qualities of God, the real qualities of God. You know what I mean? Because you've heard all the nature and the qualities of God from the biblical teachings, and you've heard more about the fear-based aspect and how about hell and about judgment, and so you don't really have a good place to stand on to understand God, because you see him from that perspective. So sometimes when we have classes, we say, like, imagine that you're gonna get to know a completely new person. Just forget about your current understandings of God, whatever. Imagine that you would get to know a new person, and then you can gradually build your, that's because God is loving, not judging, and yeah. So I guess that's what we want to do today. I mean, this is we've started this series about Jesus, the heart of Jesus. So we also today wanted to just go ahead on the big thing, which is God, and yoga. What's yoga perspective on that? And does he exist? Is there proof of that? If he exists, what is his nature and qualities? And yeah, what is he in relationship to me? Why is he? Why is it important for me to have him in my life in any way? Or that's kind of what I wanted to look at today. So that we've come over that hurdle.
Well, yeah, if you read anything about Jesus, it's going to obviously point to the reality that he was loving someone.
Yeah.
And he actually described he was loving God, his Father. So what is the information about the one he loved?
Yeah.
In other words, it's very vague. When you say the word God, most people just have an individual idea that they have a picture in their mind, which has been influenced by what they've heard or been told from others. Or they have this idea there is no God, there is no person, or the impersonalist yogis, as we call them, have the idea that God is not a person, it's just an energy source, a light, an impersonal aspect of the absolute truth.
Yeah.
And that any personality connected with God originates from this impersonal source of energy, light, void,
yeah,
whatever. There's so many ways you can envision it.
But it's like individuality and characteristics are material, and they're
So when there's a personality, it's a material form of that impersonal source, and the form is given to that energy by this material nature known as Maya, etc. Just like we get our bodies given to us by material nature. And so they say God's the same. His body was given to him or created or, presented by material nature.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the point is all of this open to just God is whatever you want him to be. You just create your own idea of God. No God, this God, that God, young, old, male, female. In other words, if that's the case, then God's a creation of us.
Yeah, of your imagination or your wishes and desires and what you want him to be.
And your idea of God may be completely different than mine.
Yeah.
But your idea is just as real to you as my idea is real to me. So it's just all of this idea that God is what you make him. So we make God. We create God. God's a product of our imagination, our mind, our desire, our wish, our hope. Either way it goes.
But
that's not true.
No,
this is the point.
It's not true, and it puts us above him. Again, it puts us in a position where we're deciding. We are, we're the guys who get to decide how things are being like. And I am greater than him, basically, because I'm creating him from my imagination and it's just like death. People say, well, whatever happens at death, it depends what you want to happen. It's like you're greater than death. There's no absolute reality, truth to death. It's just like whatever you believe happens, that's what happens. Okay?
Right.
So that's basically the same.
So we are the doers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that doesn't really do anything good for us. It doesn't really fulfill our needs for a relationship with God. There is a real personality, eternal personality, who is in the number one position. God means number one. I mean, that's the meaning of that word. And there's only one number one, and there's a personality that occupies that post. So all of my speculations and conclusions and mental concoctions don't do anything good for me. It's a very, very, dangerous position to be in for my well-being.
Yeah, I see that.
That's why we, have our scriptures. The Vedic scriptures are very, very, very detailed about the personality of Godhead, in all aspects. His form, very clearly described what he looks like, what his activities are, what his relationships are, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, all kinds of information. And all we have to do is just go there and accept it. But if we're in this mindset that none of this is true, then we're preventing ourselves from having that wonderful concept and understanding and relationship.
Yeah. So
it's that's our doing. we create this very unfavorable situation for ourselves based on our opinions and concoctions. So let's discuss what the Bible and the Vedas say about the personality of Godhead.
Yeah. So we can start with the Bible. I mean, there's a few mentions. There's let's see. Should I read that Song of Solomon from 11 or 10?
I think 10.
Yeah. So Song of Solomon, part or chapter 5, I guess, text 10.
Mm-hmm.
It says, my beloved is white and ruddy, the chiefest among 10,000.
Yeah. So he's the chief. That's basically what it says, and it's describing his form. You know, very clear. This is the form that is being described, and this person is the chief amongst 10,000.
What's
really the chief of all.
What does ruddy mean?
Ruddy complexion means not real, smooth, like pasty, but really just full of, like if a person's in nature a lot, they have a ruddy complexion. It's which is a very desirable complexion, not just a pale, pasty, complexion.
No, like full of texture and contour and
full of life. Let's say
exactly.
Mm-hmm. Keep reading.
His head is as the most fine gold. His locks are bushy and black as a raven.
Yeah, that's talking about his hair. His hair is full head of hair. And, ravens are black. Even shiny black. So it's describing it like that. And a head is as the most fine gold. Gold is the standard for perfection. And, this is the gold standard.
Yeah.
So, again, okay.
His eyes are as the eyes of doves by the rivers of waters, washed with milk and fitly set.
Fitly set.
Fitly. Oh, sorry.
The
fitly.
Eyes of doves, doves, people may know what doves are, but they may not have ever seen them close up. But their eyes are very beautiful. They're very just nice eyes, so to speak.
Mm.
And by the river, his eyes, as the eyes of doves by the rivers of waters, washed with milk and fitly set. Fitly set meaning they're placed correctly.
Yeah.
In his face.
Washed.
So again, this is just, Solomon's description as he sees it, but you can see it's all referring to beauty.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, this is so beautiful. And each person it would describe like the face of anyone may use different, analogies, but it would be describing a beautiful face, beautiful body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Eyes of doves by the rivers of waters. That's very nice. His cheeks are as a bed of spices, as sweet flowers. His lips like lilies, dropping sweet-smelling myrrh.
Yeah. And remember, Solomon this is long ago in that region, where, spices were very, very prevalent, and, incense and myrrh and frankincense and, they were very prominent in society, and the lilies are always described as being beautiful, And Jesus himself referred to lilies as being very beautiful. Look at the lilies of the field, how beautiful they are arrayed, and they don't have to worry about their clothing, so why are you worried about what you're going to wear? Look how God has adorned the lilies of the field in such a beautiful way. Etc. So it's all about beauty here.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And his hands are as gold rings set with a beryl. His belly is as bright ivory overlaid with sapphires.
Ivory.
Ivory.
Yeah.
His belly is as bright ivory.
Now, I don't know what beryl is, B-E-R-Y-L. I don't know what that is, but it's probably some jewel. I'm just guessing.
It's a mineral. Yeah, it's a jewel.
Mm-hmm.
Emerald. Well-known varieties of beryl include emerald and aquamarine.
Okay, so emerald. Yeah, aquamarine. So you know the color now.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's true.
Blue-green?
Yeah, blue-green. If you Google it, you see that's blue-green. Very nice color. And that's what his hands are as gold rings set with a beryl. Oh, wow.
Yeah. His belly is as bright ivory. Ivory is very white, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Overlaid with sapphires. Sapphires are blue again. So a very beautiful picture being painted here by words.
Yeah. His legs are as pillars of marble, set upon sockets of fine gold. His countenance is as Lebanon, excellent as the cedars.
Cedars.
Sorry for my...
Cedar trees.
Cedar trees. Oh, I thought it was called cedar tree.
No, cedar.
Cedar tree.
So Lebanon is a tree, type of tree. It's not the country Lebanon. And so anyway, it describes also in the Vedas, which we're going to read from momentarily. And it says the same thing, that his legs are like pillars of marble. I mean, just so strong, so, solid.
Mm-hmm.
And his countenance is as Lebanon. I don't know this tree, but it's probably a beautiful tree. Excellent as the cedars. Cedars are known for their aroma and their strength and beautiful wood. Cedar wood is very beautiful.
And countenance is like the appearance.
Yeah, countenance is the appearance.
Lebanon tree. So his appearance is like the Lebanon. Yeah, it's a very nice tree. Wow. Excellent. Okay, his mouth is most sweet. Yeah, he is altogether lovely. This is my beloved, and this is my friend, O daughters of Jerusalem.
Yeah, so he's describing his beloved, his dearmost friend. Such a beautiful personality. It's what he says. Yeah. Altogether lovely.
Altogether lovely.
Every aspect of the form of the Lord is so attractive.
And I just, in other parts of the Bible, it's often described as God as the ruler and the king and the father. But this is just so nice. I didn't read this before, but it specifically says, this is my beloved and this is my friend, O daughters of Jerusalem. Is your friend.
So, yeah, this is, obviously the relationship that Solomon had with the Lord. A dear friend, beautiful, lovely dear friend. So that's, if we take the Bible as any kind of, authority, there's no question that God is a person. And there's described that in the Vedas that there's 6 opulences that God has in full. And one of those opulences is beauty. So, in the world, in different individuals, we can see beauty. And people are attracted to beauty. Everybody's attracted to a beautiful person, beautiful woman, a handsome man, etc.
Yeah.
But the beauty that we're speaking about, in the material world is, number one, very fleeting. If I've done it, gone to old age homes and you look at, the people in old bodies, and here's all these women, but that some point in their life when they were teenagers and in their youth, they were probably very beautiful.
Yeah.
And they were attractive, and the men were coming to them, and, etc. But now you look at them 50, 60, 70 years later, and it's a completely different picture.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Lord, it's eternally like this. So the beauty of the Lord is complete, full in every way, and eternal. It doesn't fade with time. It's not affected by anything. That beauty is eternally the same. And it's beauty beyond any beauty we'll ever experience in this world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can't even fathom it. So,
and it's not an important aspect to this is that it's not a man-created image. Like, it's not created from our imagination, and because that would, a typical man-created picture of God, then when you hear that, would be, okay, so he's very wise, and then he's got a long beard and very old, because he's got to be, wrinkly and but at the same time, like, huge muscles because he's very strong. All that's, again, like this man-made projection of God, and not just receiving descriptions of God as he describes himself, like through the Bible, and accepting what he says.
And it's hard for us to imagine, but the great devotees of God can actually see God with their spiritual eyes. See, it's not like they're just speculating in their mind what he's like. They see, like, I can see you, and I can describe you from what I see with my eyes. See? So in the same way, they have spiritual eyes to actually see the form of the Lord as he is. He reveals himself to them because they have that loving relationship. See? So it's, again, not speculation.
But it's kind of like, it seems like a difficult situation where it's like God only reveals himself to you if you love him. But to love him, to be able to love him, you want to see him, and you want to have a proof of him, like the materialists or anyone who doesn't believe in God usually would say, like, well, show me God, and then I will believe in him. And if they see him, they might believe in him, but they won't see him because, you know what I mean?
Well, I know what you mean, but, God has his position of intimacy with his devotees, mm-hmm. and he reveals himself to them and them alone. But, for instance, Jesus, the representative of God, who, in one sense is God in that form of the pure representative. Well, he was here. He walked among the masses of the people. They saw him with their physical eyes, and they didn't all accept him.
Yeah, that's true.
He had the message. He was there. He was, personified love. They didn't accept him. And when God was on this planet 5,000 years ago, in his original form as Krishna, see, he was visible to the physical eyes of the people that were there on the planet, and they could see him, but they didn't all accept him as the Lord in any way. Some saw him, as their enemy. Some saw him as just a young boy, very beautiful young boy, but just as a young boy, and some saw him, as their son, and some saw him as their friend, and some saw him as their master and Lord. In other words, their eyes saw the same thing, but their understanding of what they saw was very different.
No.
Mm-hmm. Just an ordinary man, very special one, but, not the Lord by any means. So again, it's dependent on the individual, how we see God.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's possible to see God by at least accepting some of these truths as a possibility and following the guidelines of how we can increase our understanding and vision and love and come to a point where we do develop that love. And we have been given that process by Bhakti Yoga. But the atheist will deny the existence of God no matter what you do, because that's his very, very strong position. Unless something happens, he's purified of, his blocked vision, his resistance, his determination that there is no God, and then he can begin to see too. There's a story in the Bible about Saul. There was a personality named Saul, Saul. And he was this was after Jesus. And he was one of the biggest persecutors of the Christians. I mean, he was totally anti-Christian, anti-Jesus, anti-God. And one time he was on his way to Jerusalem, if I remember correctly. And a beam of light came down from the sky upon him and just knocked him down like a bolt of lightning kind of thing, and just like being struck by lightning, if you want to have an idea of what it was. And he was like so afraid. It was like he was almost on the verge of death. And a voice came from the sky and said, "Saul, why dost thou persecute me?" And it changed his life completely. And he went from being the strongest opponent to the greatest Christian himself. And so then his name was no longer Saul, but Paul, Paul. Mm-hmm. And so, some profound things like that can happen, but very rare, of course, very, very rare. But we can gradually hear more and be purified by this hearing and become more soft, associating with people who have this understanding of the truth that God is a person and God is my friend and God is my protector and my shelter and my, ever well-wisher, et cetera, et cetera. If I associate with those types of people, this has a big influence on me. Mm-hmm. And so there's many cases in modern history where people have had some profound experience, a death experience or, whatever the experience was, and they became strong believers, if you will. But it's more than just blind faith. It's like happening inside. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, exactly. But something can wake you up to. Yeah.
Yeah, it wakes up. And the process of hearing and chanting God's names, it does that. Mm. It does that. Mm. So, but if we had the idea that if we could just see God with our material eyes, that would change everything, but no.
Mm. Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's not supported.
You still don't appreciate it. You don't see it with your heart. You don't. Yeah.
Although there's stories in the Chaitanya Charitamrita of how contact with Lord Chaitanya completely purified the hearts of people. There's stories I won't go into now because we have other items on the list. But so why don't you read some descriptions of God from like Brahma Samhita, for instance.
Yeah. Let's see. So this is Brahma Samhita 5:29. Now,
and Brahma Samhita was, by the way, written by Lord Brahma, who is designated by God to be the creator of this world. He's the topmost agent in this material creation, and he's empowered by God to, create and so on. And he's obviously a great, great devotee of God, and God has given him the vision to see him. And he actually gave him the vision to enter into the spiritual world. So he's speaking about what he saw. Okay, so go ahead.
Okay, I think I'll start with text 30, 530. I worship Govinda, the primeval lord, who is adept in playing on his flute, with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with head decked with peacock's feather, with a figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids. So,
yeah. And it goes on. There's many, many descriptions in the Brahma Samhita.
Yeah, I worship Govinda, the primeval lord, round whose neck is swinging a garland of flowers, beautified with a moon locket, whose 2 hands are adorned with a flute and jeweled ornaments, who always revels in pastimes of love, whose graceful threefold bending form of Shamasundar is eternally manifest. Yeah, we could go on there so a lot, but where is the quote about his, you said that there was the same as his legs were with bedecked with jewels?
Like pillars of ivory?
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
Okay. It's there
It's in
somewhere.
Srimad Bhagavatam too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is just a few. There are many.
But wherever you read in this Vedic literature about God, it's always, and this is about God in his supreme number one form of Krishna. And so therefore you will always, whatever you read, it'll always point to the beauty, the unqualified, unsurpassed beauty of the Supreme Person. So if God is number one in all categories, he has to be the most beautiful. I mean, if somebody's more beautiful than God, then he's not God.
Yeah.
See? He can't be surpassed in any category and still maintain his position as number one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, he's number one in strength, but he's not quite number one in beauty or, etc.
Yeah.
So people are always looking for the most beautiful person. Everybody knows that. Where is the most beautiful person? And sometimes you might see someone that's so beautiful and you're just attracted. You can't not be attracted. And so God is number one in all categories: strength, wealth, fame, beauty, knowledge, renunciation. And so therefore he's the most attractive personality of all personalities. And that's why his number one name is Krishna, because Krishna means all attractive. He's the most attractive personality of all. So again, being God, he has to be the most attractive. And that's wonderful. I mean, isn't that what we're all looking for? Isn't that what everyone is hoping for?
The most attractive person to be together with and to love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, you can't help. There's a song that was popular when I was young. To know him is to love him. To know him is to love him.
Yeah, I've heard that song.
Just to see his smile makes my life worthwhile. To know him is to love him. And I do, yes I do, oh I do. That's talking about some guy, but the point is, everybody's looking for that. And if you know God, you love him. There's no possibility to know God and not love him. God as he really is, And again, that's what we're looking for. So the whole process of bhakti yoga is to introduce us to God, to make it so we can come to actually know him. That's the purpose of the human form of life, to come to know and love the Lord. That's the purpose of the human form of life. So those who are, denying God's existence, what are they doing? They're setting the stage to be never fully satisfied and never fully happy, to never have the opportunity to know and love the Lord, to use the human form of life in every other way and therefore miss the number one opportunity. That's the fruit of that philosophy of atheism, skepticism, and so on.
And what's on the other hand? What do you gain? What's the,
You gain misery.
Yeah.
You gain birth and death and old age and disease again and again and again.
Yeah.
Wandering here and there throughout the universe. See, that's what you gain. So it's a choice. Do I want to gain that, or I want to gain the perfection of everything I really want anyway, but can't find, don't know how to achieve it? Yeah.
So obviously.
And with that comes the beauty of depression. I just gave a lecture for Russia on Saturday about depression. And, I was reading statistics, and, it's the most debilitating disease in the world.
Yeah.
It debilitates more people.
Yeah.
40,000 people in America committed suicide last year as a result of depression. 40,000. And we were looking at statistics in Russia. 10% of the population has depression. That's 15 million people, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what you get. That's what is your reward.
That's crazy.
But if you read about, Lord Brahma's, condition, or Solomon, look at their reward. They're glorifying in the beauty of the Lord. I mean, they're, ecstatic. They just can't wait to describe it in full, because that gives them the pleasure to relive it again and again. If you're a guy and you see a beautiful girl, the more you describe it to her, to your friends, the more you taste that sweetness again.
Yes, that's true.
Wow, she was so beautiful, man. Her hair was like this, and her eyes, and, the rest of her body, and whatever. And you tell the next guy and another guy, and let's go back to that subject, because I want to relive it. So the devotees are experiencing that with the real thing.
Wow.
So one should not deny themselves the ultimate satisfaction and pleasure and happiness that comes from knowing and loving the Lord. Don't voluntarily deny yourself that possibility, because you're setting a stage that is, certainly not in your best interest.
The the end of that Christian. There was a song by some Christian artists, and the end of the song with kind of singing, half saying that God's name, and they said His name is above depression. His name, so His name is above cancer. His name is above, different things. But he said His name is above depression, and it just made me think about that when you mentioned depression.
Yeah. Yeah. His name is above all the miseries.
All the miseries. That's what they're singing. Yeah. Yeah.
And the beauty is, God is non-different in His name. You want to contact God, chant His names. That puts you in contact with the Lord. He's arranged it so He is present in His name. And those who constantly sing and praise the Lord by His name, as is described in the Bible, are the ones who are the most happy in their relationship with God. It's not just a dry philosophy. God is like this and like that, and, like describing, a statue or something. No, the sweetness is in His names. So that's why it says, praise the Lord, glorify Him by His names. Our help is in the name of the Lord.
Yeah.
Hallowed be thy name.
Give
so
praise.
there's some Christians, religions, we'll call them, faiths, I think is the more correct way to present it.
Mm-hmm.
They spend a lot of time chanting the name of Jesus. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I grew up in the South, and there was, black Christian churches and white Christian churches. And of course, I went to the white church. But I lived down the road close to a black church. It was about, 500, maybe a kilometer away, less. And yeah, probably that or a little more maybe. But anyway, I'd go to church on Sunday, and we chant the hymns from the book, just a couple, certain parts of that 1 hour, church service. There was a time when you chant a hymn, sing
Mm-hmm.
a hymn,
Mm-hmm.
and then another at the end, and maybe the choir would sing a hymn presentation. And then that was all. But if you listened, and I could hear the black Christian church, when they came to church, they stayed all day. They came and they didn't go home. They chanted in the morning, and I just sang, and we didn't call it chanting. Their service lasted the day. They'd have dinner on the grounds. They were so happy and singing and hallelujah and the gospels. And they were often chanting Jesus' name, and they were getting way more out of it. I mean, they were getting a whole different experience in the coat and tie, proper, everything.
Yes.
Go home, I mean, they were partying, they were dancing, they were hallelujahing, and they had another whole Sunday. So yeah, those who chant the names of the Lord, the names of Jesus, etc., the most are the ones who get the most out of it. They're the most happy. They have the deepest experience.
And maybe if you only experience a coat and tie worship, then maybe that's also one of the reasons why you're not that attracted to the idea of God or religion or anything, because it's just dry and, there's nothing there. There's no nectar there.
Yeah, it's very formal. It's very ritualistic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But when Lord Gauranga came, he said, chant the holy names, chant and dance, throw your hands in the air. Chant the holy names. And he did it himself, and all of those around him did it, with abandon, just losing themselves in the holy names. And that's what it was all about. They experienced that love of God. So it's all available. You get what you want. If you want to have the philosophy there's no God, that's available. That God is not a person, but just energy, that's available. There is a personality, that's available. You know nothing about him, but except he's an old man and the harsh judge and so on, that's available. But if you want to know where the nectar is, the all-supreme, young, eternally youthful, beautiful personality, that is the source of all happiness and love and is willing to reciprocate you on that level, that's available too. Mm-hmm. So everybody's got choices. Everybody's got choices. And we get what we want. The choice we make will determine the result.
Yeah.
In fact, I used to want to go to the Black Church.
I was going to say, yeah, I was thinking, did you ever?
But in that time and place, no, you couldn't do that. No, segregation was absolutely too enforced. They would have welcomed me in, I'm sure. And I knew a lot of those people in there. I mean, I knew the gates personally. And they would have been happy for me to come, but it wouldn't have floated well with my family or the other people, that would, yeah. So, anyway.
So you, in your later years, you got that opportunity again, and could.
Yeah, I got that opportunity again for sure. Yeah. So our time's up, Reuben, again.
Yeah. I think we'll chant. That's a perfect ending.
So let's chant the holy names. And always encouraging others to do the same. These are not our mantras. These are mantras for each and every person. Om Hari Om. Om Hari Om. Om Hari Hare Om. Hare Om. Hare Om. Hare Om. Hari Om, Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om.
Om, Hari Om.
Om, Hari Om.
Hari Om,
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Bol.
Gauranga Haribol.
All right, Ruben, thank you very much.
Thank you, Balakia. Thank you. That's wonderful.
Thank
Oh.
all of you guys who are joining us. I know some of you are attending each week, and
Yeah.
some may be dropping in for the first time. So subscribe, share it with other people. Let us know what you think.
Email us, send your comments, whatever, let us know. And if you're wondering about anything we could discuss in more detail, let us know. We're happy to do so. So, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to send in some questions, we'll arrange for a question and answer session when we collect enough questions.
Yep. Yeah, we can do that after a few of these episodes from the Heart of Jesus. We can do Jesus or Christian, what to say, question and answer.
Yeah. And I will mention that we're not here to argue. We're just here to present what
Yeah.
we understand to be true. And yeah. Okay, so once again, thank you. We thank our spiritual master always, and we thank the good Lord for giving us these opportunities.
Thank you. Thank you, Balakia.
Namaste, everybody. See you next time. Hari Bol.
Haribol. Namaste.